What if the reason money keeps slipping away from you has nothing to do with how hard you work, how smart you are, or how carefully you budget, but with three tiny numbers your wallet has never seen? I know that sounds simple, too simple. But stay with me, because what I am about to show you is one of the strangest and most talked about money rituals passed down for generations, and the final step is the part most people get wrong. These are not random numbers. They are said to be numbers of life, connection, and opening. And when they are written in the right place with the right focus, many believe they turn an ordinary wallet into a magnet for movement, opportunity, and financial relief. Before this is over, you will know the three numbers, where to place them, how to seal the ritual, and what to avoid if you do not want to cancel the effect. So, do not skip. Do not rush, because the smallest detail in this process is often the one that changes everything, and the last step is the one people remember only after they have already done it wrong. Most people spend their whole lives trying to fix money problems only from the outside. They work more, stress more, save a little, cut back a little, try another plan, try another promise, try to stay positive. But the pressure stays. The same cycle keeps repeating. Money comes in, but it does not stay. A bill appears. A deal falls through, a job slows down, an expense hits at the worst time, and after a while it begins to feel like there is some invisible wall between you and financial peace. If you have ever felt that, you are not alone. A lot of people feel like they are pushing with all their strength and somehow still standing in the same place. That is why this teaching catches attention. It does not begin with another budget sheet or another lecture about discipline. It begins with a different idea. It says your money life is not only built by action, but also by the meaning, order, and intention wrapped around your actions. It says that what you carry daily becomes part of your financial pattern. And if that is true, then your wallet is not just a holder for cash and cards. It is a vessel, a small private space that reflects how you receive, hold, and move money through your life. That is where these three numbers come in, and the deeper you go into this, the more sense the pattern starts to make. I first heard this kind of teaching when I was still very young, at an age when money felt like a mystery and grown people's worries sat in the air like weather. I remember being shown an old wallet, worn by time, soft at the corners, carrying the feeling of decades of use. Inside it, hidden where no casual eye would notice, were three numbers written in a very precise way. I was told they were not there as decoration. They were there as a code. A quiet instruction placed inside a physical object, a way of telling the material world what kind of energy it was meant to hold. At the time, I did not fully understand that. I thought numbers were just numbers. But the lesson stayed with me because it came with a statement I never forgot. The visible world responds to the invisible patterns behind it. In plain language, what you write with focus, what you carry with belief, and what you repeat with intention can shape the way you move through life. Maybe not by magic in the childish sense, but by something more subtle, something that changes the way you feel, think, notice, decide, and respond. And when those things change, results often change too. Keep listening, because this is where the method starts to open, and the first number is the one that sets the whole rhythm in motion. Before I reveal the numbers, you need to understand why anyone would even believe this works. In this tradition, numbers are not treated like dead symbols used only for counting. They are treated like living patterns. Each one carries meaning. Each one points to a quality. Each one can act like a key, especially when it is written with purpose instead of casually scribbled without thought. That is the heart of the practice. Writing becomes an act of direction. The wallet becomes a container, and the person doing it becomes part of the process. This is why the ritual is not meant to be rushed while half awake, distracted, scrolling, or laughing at it. The teaching says that if you do it cleanly. Do it seriously. Do it in a calm state, because intention is not an extra. It is part of the mechanism. Think about that for a second. People carry lucky objects, wear symbols, save notes, hold on to old coins, and repeat habits every day without asking why. This practice is simply more specific. It says if you want your wallet to become a place that pulls abundance instead of pressure, then write the right code into it and keep that code hidden. And yes, the idea of hiding it matters. One of the oldest rules in these teachings is that blessing grows stronger when it is not constantly displayed for other people's eyes, opinions, and doubt. That detail matters more than most people realize. So here is the first number, 18. This number is connected with life. Not survival in a cold and narrow sense, but living energy, movement, vitality, and growth. That is why it is often seen as a number of blessing and increase. When you write 18 into your wallet, the meaning behind it is simple but powerful. Let my money be alive. Let it move, multiply, and breathe. Let it not sit in dead stillness, stuck in fear or delay. Let it carry the force of life. This is important because many people handle money from a feeling of heaviness. They think of debt, pressure, lack, and delay. They think of what is going out, not what can grow. So the first number shifts the emotional ground. It tells the wallet and in a way tells the mind that finances are not to be treated like a dying thing, but like something active and capable of expansion. Write 18 on a small, clean piece of white paper or in a hidden inner place inside the wallet if the material allows it. Write it slowly. Do not rush the strokes. Look at the number as you write it and let the idea of life settle into the act. This may sound small, but stay with me, because the second number is where the ritual moves from energy into connection, and that is where many people feel the real pull of the practice. The second number is 26. In this tradition, 26 is linked to the sacred name of the divine and points to source, supply, and the stream from which all provision comes. The idea here is not just money from one job, one client, one deal, or one account. The idea is deeper. It is connection to the root of provision itself. That is why this number is placed second. First, life, then source. First, awaken movement, then connect that movement to something higher than random chance. When people struggle financially, they often stare only at visible doors. This boss, this market, this one opportunity, this one person who might say yes. And when those doors close, they panic. But this number carries a different message. It says your supply is not limited to the first door you can see. There are channels you do not yet know. There are openings that are still hidden. There are answers that have not entered the physical scene yet. Writing 26 into the wallet is like placing a reminder inside your daily life that provision does not begin with your fear. It begins with a source larger than the surface. So take the second piece of paper and write 26 with the same care. Let it be neat. Let it be deliberate. Let it feel like a connection being marked. And do not stop here, because the third number is the one said to widen the field and call in abundance from every direction, and without it the code is not complete. The third number is 72. This is the number tied to the opening of many channels at once, the full spread of possibility, the idea that abundance does not need to come from one narrow line only. If 18 is life and 26 is connection to source, then 72 is expansion. It is the opening of doors you cannot yet see. It is the broad field. It is the signal that says let every proper path begin to move. Many people live financially trapped because they think too small under pressure. They focus only on the problem directly in front of them. One overdue bill, one missing payment, one disappointing month. But this number pushes the mind outward. It suggests that what you need may not come from the place you expected. It may come from an old contact, a new idea, a sudden chance, an overlooked skill, a repaired relationship, a delayed payment finally arriving, or an opening that was invisible until now. That is why 72 is written last. It completes the pattern. It says life, source, and many channels together. Write 72 on the third piece of paper just as carefully as the others. No rushing. No messy writing. No distracted mind. And if you are still with me, now we reach the part that makes this more than numbers on paper. Now we get into placement, timing, and activation. This is where the ritual becomes real, and it is also where people ruin the process by being careless. To do this properly, you need a wallet that is clean and in decent condition. Not ripped, not broken, not falling apart at the corners. A damaged wallet sends the wrong message. If your wallet looks tired, dirty, or neglected, replace it before you do this. It does not have to be expensive. Simple is fine. Clean matters more than fancy. You also need a black pen. Black is used because it represents hidden depth, contained potential, and the unseen becoming fixed in physical form. Use 3 small pieces of white paper, plain if possible, cut small enough to stay hidden inside the wallet without falling out. And you need 1 coin or 1 bill as seed money. This matters because an old principle says blessing does not settle well on emptiness. There should already be something inside the vessel, even if it is just a little, so growth has a base. The best time to do this is early in the morning, ideally before sunrise when the day still feels open and untouched. If that is not possible, do it soon after waking, before the noise of the day fills your head. Sit somewhere quiet. No phone, no rushing. No other task running in the background. This is not long. It is only a few minutes, but the quality of those minutes matters. If you treat it like nothing, you should not be surprised if it feels like nothing. And the next part is the activation line, which many people remember only halfway. Do not make that mistake. Take a few slow breaths before you begin. Let your shoulders drop. Let the panic around money soften for a moment. Fear is loud, but this ritual works best from steadiness, not desperation. Hold the pen in your right hand if that feels natural for you, and before writing each number, pause for a second and set the same clear intention. May this writing help open right flow, right order, and right provision in my life. Then write the first number, 18. Pause. Then write 26. Pause again. Then write 72. After all three are written, place them inside the wallet in hidden places. They should not be obvious when the wallet opens normally. They can sit behind card slots in hidden folds or under a lining if the wallet has space. The idea is concealment, not display. Then place your coin or bill near them. After that, hold the wallet in both hands close to your chest and say a simple declaration. You do not need difficult language. Use plain words with full focus. I open my life to right abundance. I welcome honest provision, clear opportunities, and wise action. Let these numbers become a sign of flow, life, and increase in my path. Then sit with that for a minute. Feel the wallet not as a random object, but as a personal vessel you have now prepared with intention. And here is the part you need to remember. Once it is done, keep it private. Do not show people. Do not turn it into a performance. Do not talk about it to those who mock everything they do not understand. Silence protects the work during the first days. What should you expect after this? That is the question everybody asks, and it is also the place where people get impatient and ruin their own calm. In the first 24 hours, some people say they feel lighter, less anxious, more focused. They describe a strange, quiet confidence, as if the pressure around money loosens just enough for them to breathe again. Some notice that their thoughts become clearer. Others say they suddenly remember an opportunity, a contact, an unpaid invoice, a skill they have not used in years, or an action they had been avoiding. This matters because abundance does not always arrive as cash falling from the sky. Sometimes it arrives first as clarity. Sometimes it arrives as courage. Sometimes it arrives as the exact thought that leads you to the next open door. Within 3 to 7 days, movement often shows up in more visible forms. A message, a call, a chance to earn, a discount at the right moment, a repayment, a meeting, a lead, an idea, a shift in your own behavior that stops the bleeding and makes room for stability. Stay with me here because this is crucial. The ritual is not a replacement for action. It is a reset of alignment. It opens channels, but you still have to walk through them. If you perform it and then do nothing, ignore opportunities, avoid people, and sink back into passivity, you block your own path. The wallet becomes a signal, not an excuse to sleep through your life. There are also warnings, and they matter. First, do not do this from greed. Desperation and greed may look similar from the outside, but they feel different inside. Greed grabs, it squeezes, it demands. It wants money without order, without purpose, without honesty. That energy poisons the process. If you sit down with a frantic spirit saying, "Give me money now, prove it now, I want more than everyone else," you turn the ritual into pressure instead of alignment. The better state is trust, openness, and readiness. Not lazy hope, but steady willingness. Second, do not use this with bad intentions. If your goal is to take from others, deceive people, or gain through harm, then you are moving against the very order you are trying to invite. Nothing good grows long in dirty soil. Third, do not neglect practical life. This ritual is not meant to replace work, planning, learning, courage, or discipline. It is meant to support them. You still need to answer calls, improve your skills, pay attention, follow up, create value, and act when opportunities appear. The code is not there to turn you into a dreamer waiting for miracles. It is there to turn your daily money relationship into something more focused, intentional, and open. That difference matters, because a person who feels connected to provision often acts differently than a person trapped in fear. They notice more, they hesitate less, they move with more calm, and that can change a lot very fast. There is something deeper happening here too. Whether you see this as a sacred tradition, a symbolic exercise, or a psychological reset, the effect can still be powerful because it interrupts helplessness. It gives you a moment where you stop acting like money is only something that happens to you and start treating it as something you can approach with ritual, order, and personal authority. That alone can change behavior. When you carry those numbers hidden in your wallet, you begin to remember throughout the day that your relationship with money has been marked by intention. You are less likely to treat your wallet like trash, less likely to stuff it with junk, less likely to spend mindlessly, less likely to operate from panic. In that sense, the ritual becomes a daily anchor. Every time you touch the wallet, consciously or not, you touch the decision you made. And that decision says, I am no longer moving through my finances in a random state. I am choosing order. I am choosing focus. I am choosing to become a better container for what I want to receive. That is why people who follow practices like this often report not only outside movement but inside movement. Their spending becomes cleaner. Their fear becomes quieter. Their sense of dignity returns. Their attention sharpens. And when those inner changes happen, the outer world often begins to answer. Not always instantly, not always dramatically, but often enough that people remember the moment they started and say, that was the turning point. There was a time when I knew the method but was not applying it with consistency. I understood the ideas. I could explain them. I could talk about intention, vessels, hidden blessing, and abundance. But in my own daily life, I was still split. I was teaching one thing and living another. My wallet was neglected. My mind was scattered. My money habits were uneven. And that gap showed up in results. Everything felt unstable. Some months were fine. Some months were heavy. Progress came, then slipped. That was the real lesson. Knowledge does not change a life unless it becomes a lived pattern. So I went back to the basics. I cleaned the wallet. I removed the clutter. I wrote the numbers again with care. I carried the wallet close and kept the ritual private. But more than that, I decided to act in line with what the ritual meant. I answered opportunities faster. I treated money with more respect. I stopped speaking from defeat. I paid attention to openings I used to ignore. And within a short time, the whole atmosphere around my finances changed. That is why I tell you not to treat this like a trick. It works best when it becomes part of a shift in how you carry yourself. The numbers are the code. Your actions are the path. Together they create momentum. Separate them and you weaken the whole thing. And this is why this teaching matters so much right now. People everywhere feel financial pressure. Prices rise, jobs shift, plans fail. The old formulas do not feel as safe as they once did. Many are doing everything they were told to do and still feel one step away from panic. In times like these, people need more than surface advice. They need practices that restore calm, dignity, and direction. This ritual speaks to that hunger. It says there is still a way to act with intention even when the outside world feels unstable. There is still a way to prepare your vessel, mark your space, and invite a better flow into your life. No, it is not a permission slip to stop working. No, it is not a shortcut around effort. But it can become a turning point, a signal to your own spirit that the season of randomness is over, a signal that from this day forward, your money space will be treated with care, your intention will be clearer, and your attention will be stronger. And when enough of those signals line up, life begins to respond differently. So if you choose to do this, do it well, do it quietly. Do it with clean motive. Write 18 for life. Write 26 for connection to source. Write 72 for many open channels. Hide them. Add seed money. Speak the declaration. Then carry the wallet with respect and move through your days alert for the doors that begin to open. So let me lock it in clearly. You are going to take a clean wallet in good condition. You are going to use black ink and 3 small white pieces of paper. You are going to write 18, 26, and 72 slowly, carefully, and with full focus. You are going to place them in hidden spots inside the wallet. You are going to add 1 coin or 1 bill as seed money. Then you're going to hold the wallet close and speak words of honest abundance, clear flow, and wise action over your life. After that, you are going to keep it private for 7 days. No showing off. No testing people's reactions, no inviting doubt into the process, and while you carry it, you are going to stay awake. Watch what changes, watch what opportunities appear, watch how your thinking shifts, watch where fear begins to loosen, watch what comes back into motion. Maybe it starts as an email, maybe it starts as a phone call, maybe it starts as a new idea, maybe it starts in you before it starts around you. But stay aware, because the first signs are often quiet, and if you feel that something in this message hit you deeply, then do not just admire the idea, act on it. Go get the wallet, get the pen, write the code, Because sometimes the moment that changes a financial season does not look dramatic at all. Sometimes it looks like one person sitting in silence at dawn, writing 3 numbers with full intention, and deciding that from this day on, they will no longer carry their money life in a random way. And one final thought before you go. The real power of a ritual is not only in what it asks you to do once, it is in what it teaches you to become after. If you write these numbers and then go back to fear, clutter, chaos, and careless spending, you pull against your own prayer. But if you let the ritual change the standard of how you handle money, then every day becomes part of the activation. A cleaner wallet, a calmer mind, a stronger sense of worth, better timing, better attention, better response. That is how small, sacred acts become real movement. Not because the world suddenly owes you something, but because you become more ready to receive what was already trying to reach you. So do not treat this like entertainment. Treat it like a private decision, a quiet reset, a coded promise between you and the life you are trying to build. Write 18 and call life into your finances. Write 26 and remember the deeper source behind all provision. Write 72 and open yourself to channels you cannot yet see. Then walk forward with clean intention and steady action. If you do that, the next 24 hours may not just feel different. They may become the first page of a very different financial story.